Alright guys, we are hot off the heels of some Playboy prostitute from the previous video, which was Battlefield 6, which was pretty good, and I'm actually looking forward to the game. I'm surprised to say that. But anyways, this is Blood Message. I don't know. I saw this and I was like, I guess we'll react to it, so let's go through it. I wonder if I'm gonna hate this game. I don't know. I mean, I'm now desperate. I'm like, is everything gonna, are other games going to be good? I don't know. I have no idea if Battlefield 6 is going to be good, but there's a chance. So, let's see what this is about. I don't know. When the Tang Dynasty reigned, Bing Bong Wicked Chong Biatch. Oh, it's this game. Okay. I think. Wait. It's a good looking protagonist. Okay. So it's kind of like Assassin's Creed, honestly. Yeah, it feels like Assassin's Creed. Really feels like Assassin's Creed. So far it just feels like a legitimate game. I'm not having anything to complain about. Yeah, wow, it really feels like Assassin's Creed. A lot of male characters. It's about war. We don't have any girl bosses yet. It's just dudes. And we have masculine themes and concepts going on here in the trailer so far. We have a lot of masculine... How do you want to... Is it pathos? I think I can say pathos. The tonality, the sentiment of this trailer so far is of masculine frame and origin, not faggot frame and origin, otherwise known as female. So, yeah, I mean, this so far is just coming across as made for men, by men. Nice. Good graphics. Get wrecked. Man, like, bro, the slanty eyes people, they keep coming out with these games that are mogging American industry. What the heck? You know, I don't think the story is going to be that great. It kind of looks like it's going to be kind of pale, average. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to be woke or terrible. Am I going to say it? You know, it was really bad going through the era of wokeness, and I don't know if we're exiting it or not. I hope we don't go back. I mean, okay, I mean, could we always have a small cottage industry of leftist games? just to laugh at them, please. No, I don't mean that. Okay, it's just listen. We've had some good times laughing at bad woke games. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not happy that they destroyed our favorite franchises. I'm not happy that they spread faggotry across the globe with their terrible games. Listen, I'm not happy about any of this. But it's like, I mean, it was fun making fun of those games, I'll be honest. I think a lot of us can agree with that. And of course, raging at how they killed Peter Parker. I mean, and then also fighting against the shills and how they stand for faggotry. Listen, I don't want more of that stuff, but it's like, just deep down inside, it's like, I think hating on those games, though, it's just, those were good times, okay? Hating Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and how they just Clown World, right? It was a circus. And there's just a way in which, I don't know, it's like the circus is entertaining because you can make fun of it. So, I don't really want more of it. It's just, listen, can we replace Clown World with like comedic games that makes fun of Clown Worlds? That would be nice. It's just, you know. Anyways, this game's boring. It's so far. Just with the characters and the story pacing, I feel I can't criticize it. I can't sit here and say it's gay and it's laughable, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. It's just that it doesn't have personality. That's the only issue I have. So far it feels soulless. And, leftism is not soulless. It's Luciferian. It's evil. It's the making of freaking Karl Marx, but I don't know, just think of like a demonic woman who's retarded and annoying, and she thinks that she's a man. Okay, that incarnate is leftist gaming. So there's nothing good about leftist games. I hope they all die. Okay, but outside of that, it's just. So okay, let's not, we're not excusing anything. I do not want to get that mixed up in any way whatsoever. But again, this here game just feels neutral, and that's all it feels. It doesn't feel like it has soul to it. It just feels like, okay, we got a traditionally masculine character surrounded by other dudes who are largely traditionally masculine, which I'm not against. It's just that, where's the spirit? Where's the soul to all this, right? George Lucas with Star Wars, he had soul, he had spirit. As much as people hate something like Jar Jar Binks, let's just be honest for 2 seconds. It brought a lot of soul to it. And you know what? I've spoken about this in the past. I'm just going to say it again. You need stuff like, I don't know if exactly Jar Jar Binks, but I don't give a crap. Okay, I'm just going to make the point. You need something like Jar Jar Binks in media, in fiction. It is the imperfections that makes art worthwhile, that gives art its touch of the soul, its touch of significance. Now, it has to be made by the right person, but the right person making something like Jar Jar Binks in the world of Star Wars and other things, R2-D2 is goofy, all these goofy little things, that's George Lucas. You need these little touches of imperfection in art, made by the right person, not by crazy leftists who need to die. You need these little imperfections to ultimately cultivate something that is living and breathing, and it lasts with you. These things cannot last with you when they're soulless. And it's games like these, it might be good, but it's soulless. You won't remember it once you're done. It won't offend you. It won't piss you off exactly, but you'll just be like, I guess that was a story. I guess those were characters. I guess it happened. Okay. It's not memorable. You need as much. It's so funny. People hate on George Lucas for so many things, but it's like there's a reason why he was successful. There's a reason why Star Wars was the most popular, and now nothing is, but well, I guess technically it still is actually Star Wars, but still, it was, and technically is still, the most popular franchise in all creative franchise in all of human history. I guess outside of mythology, but if we're talking about creative IPs, Star Wars is it. Nothing else comes close. Star Wars had an absolute monopoly. It captured the entire world. People love Star Wars for a reason, and as much as everyone wants to be a retard and act like they're better than George Lucas and that they can trash on George Lucas, the ultimate truth is he's better than you. He made better stories than you can make, and he made something that so many people cannot do. Now, of course, does everyone get a chance to make a movie? No. But still, the point is that most people can't do it. What George Lucas did. It's just that simple. And of course, the people working with him, but still, a lot of people can't do it. He and the people he worked with, they did. So, people like that piss me off. You look past the clear successes of somebody just so that you can nitpick them to death to make yourself feel like you're smarter or better than them. And that's all it comes down to. I don't like George Lucas. I think that he sucks. Screw Jar Jar Binks. George, you suck. You and your freaking art should die. Because I think that I know everything better. Even though I could never make anything that comes close. And that's so many people that heckle at George. And I hate them. I hate them. I hate anyone that heckles at George Lucas. Because for one, I love Star Wars. That's why I really hate with all my soul and fiber Kathleen Kennedy, but I loved Star Wars and I still love Star Wars, and I'm sad as to what happened to Star Wars, but what a tragedy. But yeah, anyone that hates on George Lucas, I mean, they should just burn and die. In Minecraft, on the PvP server. Wow. This feels like Dynasty Warriors, funnily enough. It feels like Dynasty Warriors finally gave a crap and grew up and they stopped making trash games with trash. Okay, their games are not trash, but they just stopped. They have been rinsing and repeating the same crap for how many freaking years now? Oh my gosh. It's like they finally tried. That's what this game feels like. And also went Assassin's Creed at the same time, but still. That's cool. It feels like a cookie cutter game. I feel like we've played something like this so many times over, but you know what? It's better than the freaking woke dog crap. It looks like it'll be decent fun. I just hope that there's good complexity to the gameplay. If there's good progression systems, if they make this game good, then okay, it works. Darude Sandstorm. Frick, we have to get a woman in here. It was too good. Hold up, I need to drink some hemlock. Alright, so what's her breast size? Oh man. Oh man, I don't know what her role's gonna be in the story. Please, God. God help me. Please. I mean, she's somewhat attractive. For once, we have a somewhat... She better have breasts, bro. Why is she not dressed like a stripper whore? Come on! I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about this. Oh, man. Well... you could have dressed her up like a frickin' slut. Gosh dang it, man. Come on. And whatever. It feels like they're kind of going for like Assassin's Creed, Uncharted. That's what this feels like. I'm not against it. But I mean, like, where's the busty chicks, man? Good looking environments though. Oh man, this story, I can just tell. It's gonna be okay. Yeah, it happened. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Baby steps in the gaming industry. That's how many years old now? We're finding our way back to knowing how to make good freaking stories again, I guess. Oh, end it all.
如果神不肯拯救我们的部族，那就让我来。
If the gods won't save our tribe, I will. Okay. Man, oh man, dude. I want to redirect this game. See, okay. There's this problem that a lot of directors and writers have. You take your own scene too seriously, okay? This is outside of wokeness and all the things I've had to say about wokeness throughout how many videos now? This is now beyond wokeness, okay? Now we're talking about just games just trying to be good, okay? Now this is good compared to awful, okay? But I'm not gonna say some of the other things on my mind, but okay. You take the scene that you're writing too seriously. You think that we care. I don't care that barefoot woman. And yes, I already jerked off. Nice feet. Anyways. Who cares that the woman's walking barefoot? You know, it's so crazy to me. There's so much budget put behind these games. But yet, it really feels like we're not putting our best guys to the task. Honest to God. You put this much money into a game and you don't understand that it's incredibly important. Okay. How do you not understand these basic fundamentals? Like, seriously, the amount of money put into this. How did you not approach your scene thinking, why is anyone going to care? Why do we care that she's walking barefoot? Is it supposed to look cool? I don't care. Again, this is what I have to say is you're taking your scene too seriously. Why do you think that anyone else cares? Why do you think it matters? What brings the weight? What brings the gravitas to the scene? What does it? It has to be tethered to something of significance. Things cannot just happen in a story, and it matters. A story has to have relevant stimuli glued together and create a strand that carries the weight of the narrative. If the glue is weak, it snaps. If there is no glue, then it's just going to go nowhere. You have to make a cohesive structure that sticks together. And if the structure across the timeline that you're creating is invalid any step of the way, it can be like air quotes invalid, right? Through imperfections, you typically make the best of art if you know what you're doing, right? Like George Lucas, not saying that he's really done anything bad, but it's just like, it's better that you are made for storytelling. You have the gift and you have imperfections than to not have imperfections, because that adds the quirks and that adds the personality that makes a story. What makes stories, right? What makes AI terrible at storytelling, for instance. And I have nothing bad to say about our overlords. However, I love our overlords. Anyways, what makes AI insufficient in storytelling is the fact that it doesn't have the quirks, the imperfections of a gifted storyteller. You need the quirks, you need the imperfections within a character, within the storyline. The person telling you the story has to have these imperfections that it doesn't ruin the story, but it adds these quirks because of your personality. It adds soul, it adds spirit to the work. You have to piss off certain people with your work if it's going to mean anything, because then it means it's living. And I've spoken about this before. It's a strange dichotomy of human psychology, but ultimately, that's just ultimately the truth, is that you have the most significance when you make something that's going to piss off somebody because of the quirks, because of ultimately your own uniquity being brought forth. Now, again, this is considering that we already have quality here and that you're a gifted storyteller doing these things. But, we can look at a lot of gifted storytellers and they all have certain quirks that, there's things that I don't like about how Tolkien writes. For one, way too flowery with his language, too many adjectives. I'm losing attention every 2 seconds reading through his freaking books. Like, what the? And I read the Silmarillion and all the freaking crap, and I'm just like, geez, I barely know what's going on because I can barely keep my freaking interest in here. It was just rough. But I knew it was objectively good. It just wasn't really for me. It's just that simple, And some people, it's better for them. But Lord of the Rings would not be what it is without Tolkien and his quirks that some people like me don't like. It's so important. And I have the same thing to say about other, like the Odyssey by Homer. I have criticisms about that one too. And again, it's not significant like it is without it being what Homer wanted it to be. And that's ultimately the issue, is that too many writers, too many directors nowadays, they're chasing after what does the market expect out of me, right? What are these tropes? What are these, I forget what there was an old term for it, and we don't really use it anymore, but it's like, what are the, it's the trends in marketing, analytics. I forget what they call it, but I mean, we've gone so far past that now. But anyways, it's just basically by these crappy marketing analytics that just gives a faulty excuse for someone to have a job. What are these random tropes that we see in storytelling that people, these little these redundancies that we see that people expect in a movie or in a story or in a book, and you don't need any of that. You need a gifted storyteller that wants to bring their story out. They write it how they, by the way, pick up my books. It's in the description. Pick up my stuff, you freaking retard. Anyway, it comes down to what does the author want to deliver? And it comes down to what they are and what they want to bring to people. And they're gifted at what they do. That's what makes something have value. Not because you chased after trends, not because the marketing analytics told you this is what people want to see, this, that, and the other thing. No, you know what you're making. You know it's valuable. You know it's worthwhile in a narrative. And now you're bringing it forth to others. And that's what makes a story good, is ultimately the uniquity of the author. All of their quirks, their personality, the fact that they're going to piss off certain people because it's not made for everybody. But the quality speaks for itself, despite the fact that it's not made for everyone. And there's some other authors on minds. I mean, I could criticize certain elements, for instance, of H.P. Lovecraft. But, for the most part, I like Lovecraft's work. There's just like little nitpicks I could make, but that's it. But nah. I mean, I like his stuff. So, anyways, moving on. But you take yourself too seriously with the work that you're creating, and you're too serious to the point that you're not questioning yourself. Why does anyone care about this scene? Why is anyone going to believe or buy into the relevance of this woman saying that she's going to save the tribe? You don't doubt yourself, and obviously you can't doubt yourself too much, or else you create writer's block. And that writer's block is a couple of other things too. It's not just that, but I mean, if you're doubting yourself too much, you're just gonna stop writing. But no, but you need to have a healthy amount of self-doubt. You need to doubt yourself, not through the voice of someone else in your head telling you, oh, this is bad, that's bad. Through yourself. You need to have some self-awareness and be like, is this working? Who's going to give a crap about this scene right here? Because I can tell you this right now, I don't care. And I can say this, most people don't care. And that's the issue, is that this writer is not being self-aware enough over their own scenes. Why is anyone going to give a crap about this scene? Yeah, no one's going to give a crap. Why were you not blatantly aware of how little gravitas this would hold? There's so much budget being put behind this game, clearly, and you couldn't just doubt yourself for 2 seconds and be like, how about we make this better? You couldn't do that. I mean, there's, again, and this is what I was thinking before I went on this whole freaking rant. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, there's so many ways that I would just rewrite this. I would redirect it. There's so many ways that I would just reform the characters in the scenes. I can imagine a better movie in my head than this. And that's the issue. How much budget being put into this? And you couldn't even question yourself if you're making the best that you can provide. And again, when I'm sitting here in my mind, and this is the biggest thing with any trailer I see or any game, when I'm watching a video game cutscene or a movie or anything, if I cannot imagine a better scene to myself, that means you're doing a good job. If I'm sitting here and I'm wondering to myself, oh man, it would be so cool if we actually had this scene instead. Oh wow, it would be so cool if we actually had characters in this plot line doing this instead. If I'm thinking of a different story while engaged with your story, that means you're doing a bad job. You need to be self-aware enough to understand that there's people better than you. It's not really about that when you're gifted at storytelling and you're made for it, because ultimately, amongst good storytellers, there's so many ways to tell the same story. Aladdin, for instance, by Disney, so many ways that could have been written by a good writer. That's the ultimate truth, is that, you know, any good story that's out there, any good story, it didn't have to go that way. Good stories can be written in a jumble of different methods, but it's the writer that chooses which path are we taking. And it's because they're a good writer, they understand which directions are most relevant for the plot line and the narrative. There's a whole bunch of stuff about this. I mean, again, you're a spiritual conduit when you're writing, when you're creating a story. Storytellers are, storytelling is a spiritual practice. It's not so much you. I mean, part of you is speaking through the work, but you're more of a conduit, allowing the story to tell itself. There's a whole bunch of things about that. Moving on. So again, though, when you have the gift of storytelling, and it's just that simple, you know, there's no other way to look at it than that. Because there's so many frauds and phonies and people who have way too much budget for the skills that they lack. To not prove otherwise or whatever, however you phrase that. But when you have a properly talented, gifted storyteller, I honestly, like, I think you can say that with a lot of things. Like musicians, when they make music, they can do it in all kinds of ways, not just one. It's just, you know what, I just wanted to make this song this way. So then they did it. But it's like, it could have been 15 other different ways, and all of it would have been good. It's just, where do you want to direct your energy and how do you want to cultivate it? When you're made for something, you can do it in all kinds of ways. You understand all the ingredients and how to make the recipe. Now it's just a matter of, how are you going to jumble it? And you pick a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you choose the little things. There's only so much time in the day, so much energy that you can expend. So you're not going to select everything. And when you do select the few things that you select, you're going to make all that count. And that's what we see here with something like this, is clearly this person is just the writer for this game. They do not have the gift of storytelling. I'm already imagining in my head a better story. You screwed up. You absolutely screwed up. And this is so many writers, so many storytellers, especially nowadays. Well, I mean, always. There's so many people who are wannabes. They don't have the gift. It's just that simple. And they're so desperate to try and march out ahead and, oh, look at my story. It's got bright lights. And wow, look how dramatic this woman is walking towards an altar. Whatever. Who cares? That's right. No one cares. You need to figure out how to add gravitas. And if you can't, then hire someone who can. It's just as simple. So, one more time though on all this is with writers and storytellers. It really simply just comes down to, are you made for it or not? Do you have the gift of storytelling? And when you do have the gift, you can make one scene in 15 different ways and make it work. And this is the issue. You know, so many people are retards. People talk about stuff like writer's block, which actually does not exist most of the time. See, writer's block comes in many different methods. For one is self-doubt and typically arguing with the voices of retards in your head, telling you, oh, don't do this in a story. Don't do that. You know, those people. Screw those people. Anyways, so that's one form of writer's block. Another form of writer's block, which happens a lot, is that you're self-sabotaging your own story. You're stepping in on the narrative too much, and you need to spool it back and allow the narrative to tell itself. It's a balancing act when you're a writer, when you're a storyteller, a good storyteller. It's a balancing act of, I need to be involved enough that I ensure quality, but I need to pull myself back enough that I'm not hijacking the narrative. And see, I mean, that can get so difficult. It's like, how do you not hijack the narrative that you're working on, right? Because that can easily happen. And the truth is, and this is what happens, is that you do. And you can't avoid the fact and the times that you do hijack the narrative. You can't avoid any times that you do trip up with the story. You're going to screw up. Again, no great art is made perfect. That's the ultimate truth. It has quirks. It has the personality of the author. And it also has the insufficiencies. And that's what makes art. It's human. It's made by those who are gifted with all their flaws. That's what art is. And so, and again, that's what AI lacks. It lacks that soul, and it lacks being gifted while also having flaws. It lacks all of that. And it just creates, when you're gifted and you have, and you work through your flaws, despite being gifted, that's what ultimately ends up creating timeless art. And it's what pisses me off so much about the hubris of people who trash on truly gifted, you know, painters, writers, people who are creative, men who are creative and gifted at what they do. And it's like, you seriously could not do better than them. And yet you're going to sit here and trash on this guy, acting like you could even, for a second attempt. No, you can't. Screw you. Anyways, there's so many ways. Yeah, no. So the whole thing about the writer's block is that most of the time, either with writer's block, it's you wrestling in your own mind with the voices of others in your head, arguing with you about, oh, you shouldn't do this. Oh, you should do that, blah, blah, blah. And these people know nothing, but they're going to act like they know something. Then you have the other form of writer's block, which is you hijacking yourself. And as I was saying on this point, you're going to screw up when you're writing. You're going to screw up when you're telling, again, when you're gifted and you're doing this stuff, you're going to screw up. When you're painting a canvas, you're going to screw up. You're not going to avoid, when you're doing something creative, you're not going to avoid screwing up. It's despite your faults. It's despite how you falter. How do you actually, and like this is well seen when you look at really gifted men in sports, like Lionel Messi. You can go down a long list. Gifted men in sports, it's not that they don't screw up. It's not that when you're dribbling a soccer ball, you don't fumble sometimes. It's how quickly do you recover? So when you're writing, for instance, a story, it's not whether or not you make a bad dialogue line that matters. Even though it's like, well, that's kind of seems like the best I can do right now, but I don't know if that works. It doesn't matter. It's now about, okay, that's insufficient. I kind of feel that way. How do I make that work? It's how do you turn follies and how do you spin that into, again, it's so fascinating, the entire art of actually writing a proper story. There's so much that goes into it, not hijacking yourself, being self-aware when you're doing it. Again, allowing the story to tell itself, but you are still involved enough to ensure quality. And that's the part where you're going to eventually lose. When you're making a story, you're riding a wave. And when you're doing anything that is creative or even like athletic, you're riding a wave. You're on a wavelength of energy and it's working. But eventually you fall off. Eventually that wave loses momentum for one reason or another. It just happens. It's not a matter of, oh shoot, I have to ride the wave again. You're not going to. It's how do I recover? Quickly, how do we get on the next wave? How do we recover momentum? What can I do right now and make all that is available to me here at this moment? How do I apply myself in such a manner that I recover lost momentum or lost whatever else, whatever you feel like you're working up to? How do you repossess the significance of your momentum? And that's where we end up with a lot of anything that is made creatively. It's going to have hiccups. It's going to have these little minute flaws. And maybe you can point it out, maybe you can't. But like any great artist, and this is ultimately the truth, any great artist knows how to quickly recover. Any great athlete knows how to quickly recover. That despite how you falter and you folly, you quickly turn it around. And in fact, like you're so skilled, you make people even forget, or they don't forget, they just don't even notice it. And even if you analyze it, it's like, where did he screw up? Like Lionel Messi, he knows when he was dribbling that soccer ball, like, frick, I screwed it up right there, but then I quickly recovered it. And that pisses me off. It's like, I should have just been perfectly dribbling the entire time, the soccer ball, before I shoot it into the goal. But everyone else outside of it, even maybe his own peers, they can't see it. They can't see that you screwed up there. They can't see that, oh, you're kind of losing your momentum, and then you quickly catched it and recontinued it right thereafter. It's really fascinating because when someone's really gifted, great storytellers, great musicians, they're screwing up all the time. And they know how to turn a screw up into something. Literally, they know how to turn excrement. It's not really that, but it's like they know how to turn their own screw ups into golds. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. And that's what any great storyteller knows how to do is, this is not working. It's not even that sometimes it's not even bad. It's just that you can tell it's like, you know what? I'm not really feeling where this dialogue is going between two characters. How do I just quickly make it work? And then you just quickly make it work. And it's that ebbs and flows. And this is all what it comes down to with anything, is that there's going to be the down periods of a story and then the high periods. And again, this is the thing. All human art, what makes it great is not how perfect it is, but it comes down to how can a gifted individual, man, how can a gifted actor or a gifted artist, how can they cultivate how can a gifted actor and or artist, how can they execute / perform quality or significance or meaning, all the things that makes your work or your performance worthwhile. And by the way, this is the same thing with actors too. They also do this. A lot of actors, they also screw up in a scene. And it's, how do you repossess that meaning? How do you repossess that significance? How do you repossess significant stimuli and spindle it into value. It really is fascinating, like seriously. And I don't really know if many people, it's not that, I don't know who really talks about all of this, honestly. I've never really heard anyone exactly talk about all of this before. It's interesting to me on that note, because it's just like, why exactly has no one spoken about this? But anyways, moving on. But again, it's like, it's no matter what you've given yourself or what you are given, you know how to make it work. And that's what makes a storyteller great. That's what makes a great athlete great. That's what makes an actor, anyone that is performative, any man that is performing towards a task. What makes them great is not the fact, it's not their inability to achieve imperfection or their inability to mess up. But it all comes down to their ability to turn their faults, turn their follies into gold. And there's another way I really want to be saying this right now, but anyway. It's knowing how to turn effective function despite the quality of your performance. That's one way you can put it. There might be a more specific way I would want to word that, but I mean, that's sufficient for right now. So anyways, but that's the thing. That's the thing about anyone that's great at what they do, especially great artists, great creative minds. They know that despite the quality or despite the efficacy of what they're doing, they know how to make anything work, and they know how to do it in multiple ways, right? You're reading a story or whatever. You're going through a movie, whatever. Some creative property, piece, medium. And as you're going through it, the writer could have taken you on all these different kinds of paths, and they just chose one. And that's what makes a great storyteller great, is the fact that they know how to make anything work. Because they know how to quickly recover, and they know how to spindle anything into significance. They know how to make just about anything work. They know how to how to turn recipes around, right? Or rather, a little bit of recipes, but specifically, they know how to turn ingredients around to generate effective recipes over and over and over. And they know how to do it, right? They know how to do it despite all the different variables. And this is ultimately the other thing, is despite all these numerous variables and how many you cut out and how many you toss in, you just know how to make what you're creating work. So that's the thing. When I see this scene right here, I don't care. Quite frankly, I'm checked out. In my own head, though, it's like, oh, we could do it like this. Oh, we could do it like that. Oh, we could. There's all these ideas that start flooding my mind, and it's like, you could be doing it way better than this. Why did you go down this road with this budget? You screwed it up, and there's so many ways that you could have done it well. And that's what pisses me off anytime I see stuff like this. It's just like, you really could have done a better job, and you just didn't. And it's really frustrating for me, because it's like, it's just so easy to me how you don't screw up these scenes. But it's like, man, we keep on hiring the wrong people to direct and write these games and movies that are coming out today. Again, man, you're taking yourself too seriously. You're taking yourself too seriously. I mean, bro, like honestly, I'm just cringing. The gravitas is missing. I don't care about these characters. You're trying to sell your game and your story. It's so clear that the story's going to be a nothing burger. It's so clear. It's crazy because that scene right there, I'm just thinking in my own head, like, oh, you could have done it better this way. Oh, in a better movie, in a better video game, in a better whatever. You could have written it and directed it this way, and it would have sold. It would have been great. Yeah, but this is not it. Sadly, man, like I see it, man, it's so sad because this is just, no, it's not good. And it could have been really good. It's better than everything that's coming out nowadays. It's just like, I see the writing on the wall and it's like, man, this could have been great. This could have been a great game. I can already just tell, like the story could have been really cool. But it's sad because in my own head, I'm already thinking of a better story and better characters. Dang. That is tragic. Again, you're taking your scene way too seriously. Why do I care? A gifted director, a gifted writer, a gifted storyteller knows how to make a scene like this hold weight. This feels soulless. I don't know why we're here. I don't care. It's so crazy to me. Like, great storytellers, they know how to make this work. And they know how to make it work in 15 different ways. Scenes that just don't work, they know how to make it work. Scenes that don't work, and they know how to make it work. They know how to make it work in 15 different ways. So the visuals are good, and it doesn't feel like an absolutely trash game or story. Oh, wow. I guess we've got Percy Jackson again, and I guess it's what? This is a television show? Well, I don't care. Yeah, it's season 2. Interesting. Well, anyways, it looks good. It looks cool. I just think it's going to be painfully average is what I think this is going to be, which it's better than the dog filth that we have been getting for the longest time now. So I'm not exactly too upset about all of this, but I just know that I'm not impressed. They really could have done a better job, and they didn't. I like so many of these scenes, I was honestly just imagining something better. So it's unfortunate, but it works out that way. But, at least we get a properly masculine protagonist and largely masculine characters. We don't have really any girl bosses, but we might have a girl boss or girl boss moments somewhere in the story. We'll see about that. But at least the scenes look good. At least the tonality's decent. It's just the gravitas is completely missing. You just don't feel it. And it sucks, man, because I know that there are writers and storytellers out there. They know how to make this carry immense weight and how to really deliver effective scenes. But just from this trailer, it's not impressive. And I don't know. I like, part of me wants to sit here and say, like, maybe it'll be okay, maybe it'll be good, but no, I completely doubt whether or not this will be impressive. But I would like this to be good, but I heavily doubt it. So it's unfortunate, but at least we get like if we can at least look forward to more average games, that's a good thing. Rather than sifting through the sludge of all the games coming out today, right? Where stories are just downright bad, a huge eye roll. At least it looks okay. At least the characters don't seem completely insufferable. Again, it's just soulless. So, man, I'm just hoping that we eventually get to the point of great storytelling again, because we were close to that not too long ago. A lot of games had better writing and characters, but it's been a while since then now. You know, again, like pretty much before 2014, most average games were now is what's above average. So this is just one of those games that's kind of bringing us back to average, but there's certain elements of it that really feels below average. So I'm just really hoping that they actually, not with these developers. I really hope that we start making good stories again. Oh my gosh, like please, just give me good characters, good plots. I would love it, but yeah, I don't think this is it. So anyways, guys, that's enough here. That's Blood Message, the reveal trailer. Again, you know, I think it'll be a decent game, so it might be worth picking up, but just for me, I just know it could be better, so man, I'm so torn up about it, but that's it from me. I don't know what we're going to be covering next. There's a couple of videos I need to do, like I need the trash on Death Stranding too. I hate that game, but anyways, that's enough here. We will be back in the next one.